Good morning, everybody. Today the video is a closer look at sanding out the hub. So the first thing I normally do is I will draw that circle on there, and then I sand up to that line. So that's actually the first sanding that I do, is getting that circle perfectly lined up. This prop is decorative. It is made of mahogany, and I love sanding mahogany because it sands so fast. So it's such a instant gratification with how fast it sands and how smoothly it sands, and it's just so nice to work with compared to the hard white maple. That takes a little bit longer. So after I get my circle nice and perfectly round, then I go ahead and I start working on the corners that are left. So I'll generally smooth out the corner completely, and I'll go ahead and do all basically four corners, and get them all smoothed out. And then I usually go back and I will blend them into the hub. So I will blend that perfect circle into the corners that I took off. And I think I have it down. This is like a 7-minute video. It will probably take me 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the size of the prop, to do this part of the process. This is also the part of the process that will determine how my vertical balance is. So if I do now on this one it's a decorative, so I do not balance my decorative props. But in real life propellers, airworthy propellers, then I will, of course, balance them perfectly vertically and horizontally. So this is going to determine my vertical balance. So if I don't take an even amount off of every side, then my vertical balance will be off, and I'll have to come back and redo this process and take weight out of the heavy side until it's balanced. Now, the reason that is vertical balance is tricky is because you can see I don't want to mess up that perfect circle. So I have to be very careful about where I take material off, and I have to get very precise with that sander in what I take off. So you can see that's an unfinished corner there that I'm getting ready to do. And there's a smoothed out one, and you can probably hear my dog in the background. She's walking around and shaking her head and slapping her collar around. But anyway, but I just basically you take a little and work it down. And the better I do with the bandsaw, then the less amount of sanding I have to do. But if I'm not having a good day on the bandsaw, then I leave myself with more work to do on the sander, because you can't add material. So I generally, if I'm like, man, I'm not doing great on the bandsaw today, I better just leave that alone and take it off on the sander. And generally I try to take it down the blade a little bit, maybe 4 or 5 inches down the blade to blend it out. And that'll just make it easier when I go out to sand the whole propeller, the blending process. That spindle is just perfect to fit in to that little bitty, I don't know exactly what you'd call that, but where Grandpa always called it the wrist. So where the hub meets the blade, that spindle sander just fits in there just perfectly. Any smaller and it would probably cut in too deep. Any bigger and I couldn't really get into the tight spaces that it's there. And it is has air in it, so it has give. And that's a wonderful thing to have that give, so I can push a little harder and sand a little harder in spots, and then come off of it and sand a little lighter in spots, but it has that give that kind of shapes to the form of the propeller. And if you have it too tight, it'll actually really bounce. It'll bounce your prop, so you have to let some air out of it. And then if it's too squishy, then you can just really lay into it and it deforms. So there is this perfect amount of air that you can put in it and it usually takes me a few times. And those are some pump sleeves that a local company makes for me. The machine actually isn't made anymore. I have a lot of people ask me about that, and it's not made anymore, but it's a wonderful, wonderful machine. So I'm glad that it came with the original company. So I'm glad we found it. Anyways, that's just kind of the process of how it goes. Like I said, this is going to be a decorative, and it will have the N number stamped on it of their airplane, and it'll be hung up in their house and be beautiful. So decoratives are usually just ones that we mess up, or sometimes they order them specifically. This one she ordered specifically, had a specific look that she wanted, a specific reason she wanted it, and but some of them are mess ups that we just put on the website or keep on hand or take to air shows or something like that. So anyway, I'm just going to let you guys watch the rest of this video. Thank you for watching, and I have a longer one in the works for next week, and we will see you then. Thank you.